This is Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. What's it like to be a candidate's wife and a feminist? That's what my guest Connie Schultz writes about in her new memoir, And His Lovely Wife. The title, of course, refers to the way she was often introduced at public events when she was seen as an extension of him. Schultz was a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist with the Cleveland Plain Dealer when her husband of 2 years, Democratic Congressman Sherrod Brown, decided to run for the Senate seat in Ohio. It was one of the closely watched Senate races in 2006. Brown and Schultz had been married 2 years at the time. Schultz took a leave of absence from her paper during the campaign. Brown is now in the Senate. Schultz is back at her paper. They spend as much time together as they can, under the circumstances, and have residences in Ohio and Washington. Connie Schultz, welcome to Fresh Air.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
You write in your book, I've spent all of my adult life as a feminist and a journalist, most recently as a newspaper columnist, sounding off, speaking my mind, giving my opinions. Yet when your husband was running for Senate, you had to say things like, well, Sherrod feels, well, Sherrod thinks, because it was all about like his opinion. What did you tell yourself when you had to adjust to that?
When I first started doing it, I told myself, Connie, you sound like every 16-year-old girlfriend you've ever met. I mean, it was such a challenge at times. And I don't mean that I wasn't proud of my husband. I was. I agree with Sherrod on most issues. You know, we've only been married for 3.5 years. You don't marry someone in middle age unless you have an awful lot in common, or you better not anyway. But I just couldn't quite believe what I was morphing into. And at first I thought I'd lost all my edges. Do you know what I mean? I would look out there and it was kind of like, who is this blurry person now going blah, 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 Sherrod Brown, blah, blah. But over time, I found my bearings and I started to feel that I was coming back into view just for myself, at least.
And what changed in how you were speaking or behaving that made you feel more like yourself?
Well, when I first started, I was really trying to just, and I didn't even, I think, put enough thought into it. I was just parroting, Sherrod, people hand you these policy statements or, you talk about what, and after a while I realized, it didn't take long actually, that I was boring myself. So I could only imagine how the audience was feeling. And the whole reason for the book title is I felt like I even lost my name. I was just being introduced as Sherrod's wife a lot. And there was some issue over whether or not I should, well, not for me, I was never going to change my name, but particularly some men had a problem with my not having the same name as Sherrod. And then one night I was introduced at a chicken dinner as Sherrod Brown's wife, a woman who refuses to change her name, so here she is. So he didn't even say my name. And at the same time, I had just lost my father to a heart attack. My dad died about 2 weeks earlier, and it really all came to a head for me. And I thought, saying that I haven't changed my name because I only married Sherrod a year and a half ago doesn't begin to explain why I have this name and why I'm proud of it. And so